and welcome to the Tough Cover Podcast. Not the Daily Dose, that was what I was just on with Dylan Davis, but this is the Tough Cover Podcast, and you can follow the Tough Cover Podcast at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter at @MarkHenry_Jr. right there in the display. Please comment in the comment section. Be a part of the Tough Cover Click. I will put your comments on the screen. On today's show, I will be going over my favorite picks of the MLB and the NBA slate. For tonight, I'll be talking about what my record has been so far in April, and I'll be going over the games that I didn't make a pick on, or any games that you guys have a question about, or any picks that you guys have in the comments. So please interact. It makes the show a lot more fun to do. I apologize that I have not done a pod since Sunday. WrestleMania really threw things for a loop. I was very tired on Monday, and then there was not much on the slate yesterday, so I just did my picks on the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. So, and then I went again today on the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis, a great show, discussing the Phillies and the Sixers from last night and for tonight's games for both of those franchises. So it'll be a fun night for Philadelphia sports, hopefully, for the Sixers playing the Nets and for the Phillies playing the Mets, playing our New York rivals. And we will be discussing those bets or those games a little bit on today's show from a gambling perspective. And I'll also be giving you my favorite NBA and MLB picks not involving Philadelphia sports. And for the best place to take those picks, you already know it's BetRivers. You guys see the commercials. And for a word on BetRivers from our sponsors over at XL Media, here you go. Hang on tight.
Hey, what's up, guys? March Madness is here. The NBA and NHL are both in full swing. Baseball opening day is coming up, while we here at the Painted Lines are devoted to bringing you top-notch content from all the major sports. We are excited to also now give you the opportunity to cash in on all that content and knowledge. If you follow the link below, you will have the opportunity to sign up with BetRivers, an online sportsbook, and get an instant new user deposit match of up to $250. That's free money that you can use and try to turn into more free money. Let's go. Don't sit there and waste all that money. Turn every basket into an otherwise meaningless Cavs-Timberwolves matchup on a random Wednesday in March. That makes it all the more exciting. For betting tips and advice, be sure to check out written content from our top prognosticator, Money Max, on our website at thepaintedlines.com, or check out the Tough Cover Podcast right here on the Painted Lines YouTube channel. You've seen the commercials all over TV and radio, but now is the time. Sign up today with BetRivers using the link below and start cashing in on your love for sports. Using the link below will automatically inform BetRivers that TPL sent you, and you'll get that new user deposit match of up to $250. Don't miss out on this opportunity for some free money, baby.
Don't miss out on that opportunity for free money, as Dibes says. You can go check that out at BetRivers, and it will let them know that the Painted Line sent you. And for any info on that, you can look at the description. In any of my videos, we will have the link to that BetRivers sponsorship. And we will also tweet it out on Twitter at The Painted Lines. Please follow at The Painted Lines and subscribe to The Painted Lines on Twitter. Or follow them on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. And again, like I said, this is episode 32 of the Tough Cover Podcast. So let's get to my picks from yesterday. I went 1-2 on the slate, down 1 unit. Which brings my best bet to 21 and I believe 15, 21 and 15 so far on the year. And the Tough Cover Pod tracker in April is, I believe, 94 and 83. So we're on a good track. That's overall. We are 29 and 26 in April. Overall, we are 94 and 83 since the start of the Tough Cover Podcast on March 1st. So let's improve that record today. I've gotten absolute ton of picks, one of the most in a long time. We got, how many picks we got here for you guys? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 6 straight bets and a parlay for you guys. So a 6-pack of straight bets and then a parlay. Let's get to them, and let's start it off with your Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going with a team total over here at 140. I had the Milwaukee Brewers team total over 4. Gave it out on Twitter. That one cashed. So we want to know to start the day up only a unit. It was a small play. But we are going with a little bit bigger of a play. And I don't love this pick as much as I did when I first made it because of the lineup that just came out. But I have the Philadelphia Phillies over 4 runs team total for 2 units. This is a must win, in my opinion, for the Philadelphia Phillies, which might sound funny in the 12th game of the year. But yesterday, the bats were silent. I expect that to turn around a little bit today, especially because the bats weren't that silent, especially in the first game. It had a lot to do with situational hitting and a lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. And I think that steps up today. Bohm has been fantastic career, right? Runners in scoring position. Same with Bryce Harper. Same with Rhys Hoskins. I think that those numbers will check out today if they get in the right situations as they were yesterday when they didn't come through. I think those guys will step up if the time calls upon them. And even if with the slow hitting start, the Phillies have scored at least 4 runs in 7 of 11 games this year. The Phillies rake left-handed pitching, and more specifically, they rake Dylan Peterson. Peterson gave up 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 homers, and 2 walks to the Phillies in his first start of the year. He's coming back, playing the Phillies again. Can't be a great time for Dylan Peterson to have to face one of the best offenses in baseball against left-handed pitching in his first 2 starts of the year. Plus, Peterson also got crushed in a September game against the Phillies last season. If you look at the matchups that he has against the players who are still on the team from last year and again that are playing again from the first game, Rhys Hoskins has 2 homers and 2 doubles in 5 at-bats, and Bryce has 1 homer in the same amount of at-bats while being 3 for 5. JT rakes lefties, and Dylan Peterson is no different. So this team, especially the meat of our lineup, is really good against left-handed pitching. And plus, the wind is blowing out today in Citi Field, and the over is 8-2 in the last 10 games between these two teams. So I expect a high-scoring game. I expect it to be like an 8-5 game maybe. And then, speaking of an 8-5 game or a high-scoring game, including a Phils victory, Rhys Hoskins to homer in a Phillies win is plus 680. I'm putting a half unit on that. As I said with Rhys already, he absolutely rakes Peterson. 2 homers and 2 doubles and 5 at-bats is no joke. And he kills the Mets in general. He's the Pat Burrell of this era, the Chase Utley of this era, a Mets killer. And lefties, he's a lefty killer in general. So as for the Phils win, they need it. That's the part of this that I'm a little worried about. But I think we win it because of the bats. With the bats quiet yesterday and Wheeler coming off of a lemon of an outing, he needs to get a win, as do the Phils. And as does Wheeler for my fantasy team, a Mets team that is 28th in MLB in runs per game while leading the league in weak contact percentage at over 7%. That is a team that should be able to be taken advantage by the hard-throwing Zach Wheeler. A Rhys home run and a Wheeler win would be huge for me in fantasy. Also, wouldn't mind seeing a dinger from Bohm, who's also on my fantasy team, and also parked an absolute bomb off of Peterson at Citizens Bank Park last week when I was live in person for the game. So moving on from the Phillies game, those are the first 2 picks of the slate. We're moving to the NBA here at 8 o'clock. I have the New York Knickerbockers plus 3.5 against the New Orleans Pelicans for 1 unit. This is out of loyalty to the Knicks due to how good they've been to me from a spread perspective, especially as of late. The Knicks have won 3 consecutive games and have 7 consecutive covers against the spread. Since the start of that win streak and that cover streak, they have posted a plus 5.6 point differential, which is 10th best in the league, which justifies their playoff standing currently, and is also a significant increase from their season average of plus 1.0. And a big part of the reason for that has been R.J. Barrett, a guy I have not been very high on in his career. R.J. Barrett has been unbelievable over the last 7 games. He has averaged 17 points per game on an incredible 56.3% shooting from three-point range. A matchup of a top 3 defense against a bottom 3 defense usually favors the top 3 defense regardless of the gap offensively. The Pelicans allow the 3rd most threes per game at the 2nd worst rate in the NBA. Losing Lonzo Ball hurts that even more and hurts them on the offensive side just as much, and that will hurt Nola too much here. I think the Knicks have a lot of different looks to throw at Zion. The Pelicans are 6-11 against the spread as a home favorite, while the Knicks are 12-7 against the spread as a road dog. The Knicks are 33-21-1 against the spread on the year, which is much better than their regular record, while the Pelicans are worse against their spread than they are straight up. So I expect the Knicks to cover and win tonight. So take the money line, but I'll be taking Knicks plus 3.5 for 1 unit against the New Orleans Pelicans. Moving on to another game in the NBA that I'm double dipping on here, just like I did on the Phillies game. I'm looking at the Dallas Mavericks versus the Memphis Grizzlies. You see the guy behind me, Ja Morant, probably my second favorite player in the league that's not a Sixer, playing against Luka Doncic, my first favorite player in the league who's not a Sixer, but I'm going against Luka. I'm going with my guy, Ja Morant. The Memphis Grizzlies plus 2.5. I think that they're the better team right now. Memphis has been playing such fantastic basketball since the All-Star break. They've really turned it on. Shout out to J.E. Skeets from No Dunks, who really predicted that. Jonas Valanciunas has been a big part of that, and I don't see how the Dallas Mavericks man up with Jonas Valanciunas, even if Kristaps is playing tonight, which I don't believe he is. Jonas Valanciunas is just too much man for Kristaps or Boban or whoever they're going to throw at him. Dorian Finney-Smith, Willie Cauley-Stein, whoever it may be. I think Jonas will absolutely terrorize them, and I think Ja Morant will absolutely terrorize Jalen Brunson and will get to the hole against the poorest Dallas Mavericks interior defense. So I expect the Memphis Grizzlies to roll here. The Memphis Grizzlies are 31-20-1 against the spread on the year, as opposed to a 27-25 straight-up record. The Grizzlies are the second best team against the spread in the NBA, as opposed to the Mavericks, who are below 500 against the spread at 26-27, while being 29-24 on the year. The Grizzlies are only 1.5 games back of the Mavericks right now. So this would be a big win for the Grizzlies to gain some ground. And I think that the Grizzlies take care of business and hang on. And a quick trivia, this will win you a drink at a local bar. The most profitable team on the money line over the last decade, since 2010, has been the Memphis Grizzlies. You wouldn't expect that. You'd expect a better team, but because they've been underdogs so often and they've outperformed expectations year after year and so often, that has allowed the Grizzlies to be the most successful team on the money line over the last 10, 11 years. I forget if it's 10 or 11 years, but pretty incredible stat. I was absolutely floored, and I was absolutely surprised by that. So that's just a side trivia note. But my best bet, my lock of the night, my play of the day is also in this Memphis Grizzlies matchup. The Memphis Grizzlies have scored 112 plus in 11 of their last 13 games. So I'm going Memphis Grizzlies team total over 111.5. I think that the Memphis Grizzlies handle business. I think that they take care of the Mavs. And like I said, I think Jonas Valanciunas is just too much offensively for the Mavs bigs. And I think Ja Morant's penetration will really get the Mavs in foul trouble and will really, really tire the Mavs out. We saw the Mavs really give up easily against the Sixers earlier this week. And I think it'll be more of the same today. I think the Grizzlies win this one. I think they take care of business offensively over 111.5, which is my best bet of the night. Moving on to 10 o'clock in the NBA and sticking in the NBA. For the rest of this show, the Washington Wizards are playing against the Sacramento Kings. Only a sick individual like your host here of the Tough Cover Podcast, Mark Henry Jr., is going to be paying attention to this game, but I'm going with the Washington Wizards money line over the Sacramento Kings. The Wizards, while being 20-33, are 27-26 against the spread. The Kings, however, have lost 7 in a row and have only covered in one of those games, getting blown out in the other 6. The Knicks will be missing Rashawn Holmes and could potentially be missing Buddy Hield, and the Wizards will take advantage of that, especially on the inside with Russell Westbrook and the Wizards bigs. I think the Wizards will control the interior of this game. The Wizards have covered 4 of their last 5 and have won 3 of their last 4. The Wizards are trending upwards with a chance at making the playoffs. The Kings are trending downwards with virtually no chance to make the playoffs. So I like the Wizards to take care of business here against the Sacramento Kings and win. There's one unit. That's a small play. Another small play here to finish up the card. A bonus money line parlay at plus 111 is what it has since went down because the Sixers odds have changed. But I'm going with a 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock Sixers Pacers money line parlay. If the Sixers take care of business, that means you have the Pacers plus 111 money line at 9 o'clock against the I believe it's Houston Rockets. Yeah, in Houston, but still 4.5 points is way too small of a spread here for the Indiana Pacers, who won 3 of their last 4 games and have covered 3 of their last 4 games. So I think Indiana handles business here against the Houston Rockets, and I think the Sixers handle business against the Brooklyn Nets C team. So to go over the rest of that card real quick, we are going to quickly bring you an advertisement from my other podcast. I'm going to play my intro to my other podcast to give you guys an idea of the kind of guys and themes that we will be discussing on that podcast. It is a professional wrestling podcast. I believe currently I'm thinking of having it be regular on Sundays. So let me know what you guys think of the intro. Let me know what you guys thought of the WrestleMania live stream we did the other night. I just wanted to show you guys this quick advertisement before I rounded up my picks that I just gave out. So hang on tight, and I'll play my wrestling intro here. If you don't like it, sit through it. I'll be right back with my picks. But if you do like it, I've got a podcast for you. That gets my blood pumping. So if it gets your blood pumping too, come check out the Marking Out with Mark Pod. You can follow that at MarkoutPod for a professional wrestling podcast that's new at the Painted Lines, trying to expand the horizons a little bit of the Painted Lines. And I really enjoyed going back and forth with those of you that were in the stream on the WrestleMania live stream. So thank you for being a part of that. And thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click. And let's get you those picks before I get out of here and go watch some sports for the night. So my first pick of the night is Phillies team total over 4 runs. And I also have the Philly, and that's for 2 units at -110. And I also have the Phillies to win with a Rhys Hoskins home run at +680 for a half of a unit. I have the New York Knicks +3.5 for 1 unit at the New Orleans Pelicans. I have the Memphis Grizzlies +2.5 versus the Dallas Mavericks for 1.5 units. I have the Memphis Grizzlies team total over 1.5 or over 111.5 for 2.5 units as my best bet, my play of the day, my lock of the night. And I have the Wizards money line for 2 units over the Sacramento Kings. We already got Milwaukee Brewers over 4 to the pay window. And then for a bonus money line parlay, we have a Sixers Pacers +111 money line parlay. And just to give you a couple bets that I didn't make that I was staring at, Atlanta Braves -1.5 versus Miami Marlins looked intriguing to me. The Boston Red Sox in their second game against Barrios as a money line play looked intriguing to me. The Houston Astros -1.5 looked intriguing to me. But these are the bets that I stayed away from. And I believe that there was one NBA bet that looked a bit intriguing to me as well. I believe that it involved the Charlotte Hornets being -3. Yeah, Charlotte Hornets -3 against the Cleveland Cavs. So I do think the Charlotte Hornets win that game. If it was a pick 'em, I'd probably take them. But again, play of the day, Memphis over 111.5. Phillies over 4 is probably my second most confident play. My third most confident play would be Memphis +2.5. My fourth most confident play would be Wizards money line. My fifth most confident play would be Knicks +3.5. My sixth most confident play would be that money line parlay. And seventh would be Rhys to homer in a win. So thank you for being a part of the Tough Cover Click. Please follow at Mark Henry Jr. _ Please follow at Tough Cover Pod on Twitter. Follow at The Painted Lines on Twitter. And subscribe to The Painted Lines on YouTube and Twitch. I've been potting for about an hour and a half now, so I'm going to go give my voice a rest. Thanks for joining the show, guys, and enjoy the winners.